Okay, welcome back. So in the last lecture, we talked about how to install package, create Conda environment, install packages using Conda, Mamba, and also UV, right? We also briefly talk about GitHub, how to create a new GitHub repositories on GitHub. So in today's lecture, we're going to continue utilizing Git and GitHub, and also we're going to cover Markdown. So Markdown is a markup language that's widely used in the software development, because when you are developing something, you need to document, right? And we are not using TXT or Notepad to document stuff, okay? Markdown is very popular one. That's very useful for these kind of applications. But it's very simple and easy to use. We go through that later. Before we get into the lecture, I want to quickly mention that I posted Lab 1 here. So if you go to the website, you should be able to see Lab 1 in here. And so Lab 1 has 5 questions. It looks a lot, but it's actually not a lot, okay? So if you spend some time to do it, this can be done probably within 20 minutes. For me, I can probably finish it in 10 minutes. But just for you to practice, I try to show you some of the steps, and I intentionally not to include every single step that you need to do. Sometimes you do need to rewatch the video, or you might need to Google, or you might need to figure something out. And so this is a way for you to explore and to solve problem yourself. So later, if you have any questions, you can go to the GitHub repository here. Again, you need to use the discussion board, okay? So going forward, if you have any technical issue, you have any questions, we're going to use this GitHub discussion. I'm going to show you later once you are familiar with Markdown, okay? Because we haven't covered that yet. Once you know how to use Markdown, then you can very easily ask questions on GitHub. And this is a better way to ask questions because other people might be having similar questions, and people can also help you out. You can also help other people out if you know the answers. And it's better because otherwise, I'll be the only one to answer questions, okay? And I'm not available 24/7. Other people might be available. And also it's public, so anyone following this course online can answer the questions and help you out. So I strongly encourage to start asking questions. Again, anything private, then you send to my email. Otherwise, be here. We'll cover that later. All right, so next, let's get started. In the last lecture, we created a repo, right? So if you remember, we create a demo repository. I call it GOG510 demo, right? You should have something similar. If you don't have one, just right now, spend 5 seconds, create one. Just click the button, and here create a new repository. Then give a name, choose the owner here, should be yourself. Give a name, public, add a README, and then for here, you can add something if you want, or you can have a license, MIT, whatever you like. Right? So literally it should be 3 seconds, you have a new repository. So once you have this repository, we're going to start making changes. So right now, what you see is like this, right? But if you compare to my course website, this one is also open source. So if you see the website here, this one is built and hosting on GitHub. It's free. I don't need to pay anything. So if you want to look at, for example, the source code, if you click upper right here and go to this one, right, you will see here I have text, I have hyperlinks, I have images, I have bullet points, and this is the so-called Markdown. Okay, this is where it's being utilized. If you see this icon, you might have an icon, or you might have a view or something, or you can click the Markdown icon, the file, and then you go into the page. There should be a button here, so the raw. If you click this raw button, if you go to the Markdown, this is what it looks like behind the scene. So it's actually a plain text TXT file, but it's called Markdown because it has some special syntax. It's basically a markup language that when you put it on the website, it's going to render this one, and this is called Markdown. Again, we'll cover this one later. So if you want, you can create a Markdown like this. So in that way, your repo looks much more professional compared to this one right now. There's not really much in here. It's just like the title, okay? So next, let's start making changes. How do we make changes on the Markdown? So there are 2 ways. First one is to use the website. So if you want, you can click this button here, Again, this one go to your own repository. So click this button, edit file, and you can just start doing all the editing in here. Again, you need to know Markdown, but most of the time we don't want to use this way unless you don't have access to a computer. You just on your public computer or something. You want to make some changes, you use this way. But to be a professional programmer, we don't use the web interface. We want to do things using VS Code. So what you can do here is to clone the repository. So there are two ways. You can use the command line to clone. So you can go here, copy this green button, and then this by default is to be HTTPS. Click this one, this button, copy URL to clipboard. Okay. So once you have this, now go to your computer, open any directory that you want. Download directory, document directory, wherever you want. And then from there, open the terminal. Even on Windows, probably right click, there should be a menu, so open terminal. Even on Mac computer, just open the terminal. Or on Mac computer, I think it's like at the bottom here, there might be a address bar or something. If you right click, and then there may be options to open the terminal from here. Or you can just open the terminal and then cd into the directory. Okay, either one is fine. So I'm going to open my terminal here, right? And this is where you can start doing the git clone. Just to double check, just type git and then hit enter. See if it shows you anything. So let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. So make sure git is installed properly. Then you can just git space clone and then Control V. Git space clone and then space. Here's the URL that you copy from that green button. And then just hit enter. It should be done within a couple seconds. You should have this folder here. For example, mine is GOG510 demo. You might be anything else, that whatever name that you chose, right? So this is how we clone this one to our computer. And the second way you can do it is to use VS Code. So if you want to use the interface, just open VS Code and then go to, I think, where is it? Maybe Git on the left side here. If you click the icon, number 3, this Git icon looks like a tree. So here, there's a blue button here, clone repository. So you can also clone this way, and then click clone from GitHub. If you log into your GitHub account, so by default, it's going to show you the list of GitHub repository tied to your computer. If there are too many here, you can just search. For example, if I know the name GOG510 and then demo, right? You see this one. Oops, I have too many here. Demo, right? Oh, this is from somebody else. You make sure you select the one coming from you, right? Your username here, and then also your account. So if you click this one, and then it should pop up a dialog, allows you to select a location where you want to save your repository. So I'm going to go to maybe my downloads directory, and then just lower right here, click select as repository destination. Then click open. Good. Now you see here, we have this one. It might pop up a dialog showing you, do you trust the authors of the files in this folder? You want to check this box. And then yes, trust the author. And all done. So now you should have this one here on your computer. So I downloaded it to my downloads directory. You should have this one, these 3 files. Again, by default, the .git directory might be hidden. You probably only see these 3 files on your computer. 1 or 2, depends on how many files that you created when you initialize the repository. And then don't delete this one, okay? This one is where all the history. This is where it's the Git. Without this directory, it's not a Git repository. It's just a regular folder. Make sense? If you forget, there's always the website here. If you go to the Git page, we have all the commands in here. So you can go back to double check. There's only a couple commands that you need to remember. Yes? No, it's one time only. The clone is one time only. Next time, if I make some changes, it's called git pull. Pull the changes. Git push is the updated changes synchronized to GitHub. So for example, right now, once I clone this one, right? At the bottom here of VS Code, you should see this one. There's like because I'm hidden, but the icon. Look at the lower left corner, the main. Look at this one, the blue, and then there's a kind of refresh icon. This one basically shows you if your repo is synchronized to GitHub or not. So if there's any changes on GitHub, you can pull the changes. It will show you. For example, right now in here, if you click this icon again, and you can go to the menu here, and there's pull, push, clone. So what you want is maybe just to git pull. Pull means you're going to pull the changes from GitHub, right? So right now, because there's nothing has been changed yet, so there's nothing to pull. But let me give you a quick demo, right? So I'm assume right now I want to make some changes here. I don't want to use VS Code. I can go to the edit button, and then from here I can say, okay, I edit a line, whatever, okay? And then upper right corner here, click commit changes. Okay, so commit is in the Git version control is basically to kind of saying that I'm going to take a snapshot and I want to push this snapshot to the mainstream. I'll say so commit changes. It's not committing a crime or something. It's commit changes. Okay, this is called putting the things into the staging area and then push it to the main repo. So if I click this commit changes, it's going to pop up asking you to like give a message. Message is going to show in the Git history. You can give a long description if you need it, and otherwise just say commit changes. That means right now, this is pushing to the main repository. So if you go to the main repository, right now you should see this one here. I just added. And upper right corner here, you should see now 2 commits. That means, okay, this is the initial one, and I just updated this one. So if you click this, here it shows you the detail. Green means it's new addition. Red means it's deleted something. So basically, every tiny piece of things that you change to a source code, it will be recorded here. So this is why open source is important. If somebody trying to insert some like virus or anything into a source code, people can look into it, people can figure it out. So basically, you need to put your source code into the public eyes to be tested. So think about here. Right now, I have this, and I have 2 commits. So if I go back to my VS Code here, look at the button. When I open, do you see this one? Thing changes because if you look at the lower left corner here, initial commit, right? And the other one here right now is kind of pink color. That means this commit, VS Code knows that there's some changes in the cloud, and it's going to ask you, do you want to synchronize or not? If they synchronize, if I click this button, or you can also see the lower left corner here, lower left, what do you see right now? Behind the refresh icon? Do you see an up and down, right? You see that the number 1 and then down and 0 up. That means down means coming from the cloud from GitHub. That means there's 1 commit. That means the cloud in GitHub is 1 commit ahead of you. So that means you are behind. There are 2 ways you can synchronize the changes. You can either click this one, or you can click this button, or if you really like coding, you don't want to click the button, you can also open the terminal. So click this one, kind of like the, I don't know what's this called, the stop, whatever. If you click this one, it should pop up this panel here, and then you can click terminal. The terminal is kind of similar to Windows terminal or Mac or Linux that allows you to type command. So right now you will see it's right now on my username and also the directory. So again, you can click this button, you can click this button, or you can just type git pull. So git pull, that means I'm going to put the changes from the cloud onto my computer. So pay attention to the green button, the blue button, upper left corner. After I hit enter, see what happens. It goes away. So everything right now we were doing using Git, using the interface, we can do everything using the command. So there are not many commands you need to remember. It's git clone, git pull, git commit, git push. That's it. Again, everything is being documented on the website here. You can go back to double check if you want to. The only thing that you need to make sure that you set it up is to this one, okay? Otherwise, you won't be able to commit. So you need to set the configuration and replace this with your name, whatever, and then copy it. Then paste this one in the terminal or paste it in here. I'm on something like, oops. Anyway, maybe use the terminal. Might be better. Control V. And again, replace this one with your name. Don't hit enter, okay? Replace this with your name, your real name, and then also copy and execute the second one. So in this way, when you push to GitHub, it knows that it's come from you because the name is going to show up in here in the commit history. And basically your username, your information will showing up in here. Yes? Oh, it's one time only. Yeah, so we already did that. I'm just saying, if there's any error message showing that, oh, your username is not set up, that means you didn't execute this one. Okay, so that's it. So now you see it's done. And so let's try to make some changes locally and then push it back to GitHub. So double click, open this README. In VS Code here, double click this README, and now we can start making some changes. So this is where we're going to basically introduce Markdown, okay? And this is the README document. We can add a lot of things. On the left side here, I'm going to show you. I'll go to the course website. There's a new Markdown lecture here. So if you click the Markdown, this one shows you some of the basic information. So Markdown, like I said, is very easy to use. It's lightweight. It's basically just plain text. So I can just use a notepad to write Markdown. And then after it's rendered on the GitHub, it looks a lot better. So also there's a lot of extensions. So before I do that, let's try to install the extension. What I recommend is this one, Markdown shortcuts, and also prettier code formatter. So these two is very useful when you're writing Markdown. So if you haven't installed it, go to VS Code here, and then on the left side, click this. Just search Markdown shortcuts. Okay, click this one, install it. Markdown shortcuts. And the next one is prettier, P-R-E-T-T-I-E-R, prettier code formatter. Again, install this too. Then it will make your Markdown creation much easier, much more productive. So once you have this, now we can start doing two things. Okay, we can add something to the Markdown, and we can also push this to GitHub. So right now, let's say you can add a new heading. So heading, the first one, if you see here, just one hashtag, that one means heading label 1. Let me zoom in a little bit. This means this is heading label 1, basically just like a title. And if you look at it on GitHub, it's pretty clear. This is kind of the title of this page. So you can add text, you can add a lot of stuff. For example, I can add 2 hashtags, 2 pound signs. That means it's label 2. So in here, we can say, okay, introduction. Right? And you can start writing text. Okay, thanks GitHub Copilot. I don't need to write anything. It knows what I'm going to write. And okay, uses. Okay. Thank you. Contributors. Okay, this one now you need to write something. Okay. The whole class. Okay. Control S. That's it. So as you can see, I just added some simple headings and just some description, nothing fancy. Let me turn off this one. So next, how to actually preview, right? Because right now, what we're doing here, this is just some like text, but we want to see what it looks like when this one is pushed to GitHub. So what you can do here, there's a keyboard shortcut, okay? Remember, it's Control K and then V, okay? It might be a little bit confusing. It's not Control K, Control V, okay? Control K and then release and then press V. Okay, Control K V. You see pop up on the right. There might be, I'm not sure if there's a menu here or somewhere. I usually use shortcut, so I don't really not use the menu a lot. There might be a preview button or something. Anyway, it should be the same across platforms. So Control K and V. I'm going to do it one more time. Control K and then V. It should pop up on the right. Does it work on your computer? No? Hold down Control and then K, and then release it, both of them, and then press V. No, it's Windows. Yours works. Control K. Or let me see here. Oh, enable preview editors. Yeah, I always use a shortcut, so I don't actually know exactly. There might be a menu somewhere here to preview. Or maybe try this way, Control Shift P, and then preview. Let me see if there's one. Yeah, Markdown, open preview to the side maybe. You see here the shortcut here, Control K, Control V. So you do this, Control Shift, and then P. Control Shift P is going to open up the command palette here, and then just preview. Just type preview. You should be to find this one, Markdown. Open preview to the side. So if you click this one, it's open it to the side. Does it work? Control Shift P. Okay. If it doesn't work, I can help you fix it later. So right now on the left side here, look at this. So in the Git, right? So you can see the blue icon, number 1. That means right now one file has been changed. There might be multiple files. So for example here, I can also go to my the first icon. I can add a new file. So you can right click somewhere here, new files. Okay, and then you can give any new file. For example, paste.txt, whatever. You can add any file you want. So in general, don't try to put large file in there. So this should be usually source code should be very lightweight. You don't want to put large file. It's not good. So here I can say, okay, hello. You can add any text. I'm just as an example. Control S. So if you press Control S, now on the left side, look at this. There should be 2. It's showing you 2. That means you have 2 files that have been changed. On the left side here, it should show you the changes. And if you want, you can click this one to show the compare the differences. If you click on the file, it's going to open this one. It will show you left and before and after. Let me close all this so that it's more clear, right? So I click on the left side, click this icon. This is the gig icon. And then it's going to show up what kind of things have been changed. If you click this one, it should pop up. And this one is going to show you this is before, this is after. Okay, but it has not been uploaded to the cloud yet. It's not been committed yet. Right now, this is still in the working area. Once you put it into the staging area, that means it's ready to be incorporated. But right now, it's not yet. Also, you can click the second one, and you will see here, right? It's a new file. It's adding this one sentence. So next, let's see how we can actually commit the changes. So here, on this box, message. So this is the one you want to write the message. And this is the one going to show up on GitHub when you go to the commit history. It's going to show this. This one is the commit message. Okay. So we can write a message, for example, update readme.empty and add txt.txt, whatever. Don't make it super long. It should be short and descriptive. Okay. And then, okay, you can either click this button. Don't click yet. I usually would prefer to use the keyboard shortcut. Okay. So once you write the message, press Control Enter. Control Enter on your keyboard. It's going to commit the changes. That means right now at the lower corner, lower left here, do you see Switch commit? And then you can click this button, sync changes. See what happened? See, everything has been cleaned up. Right now, it's synchronized with GitHub. So if you want, you can go back to GitHub, and if you go to the home page, see, do you see the changes coming up here? If it doesn't work, that means you did something wrong. Yes? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You need to Control S. Okay, so if you make any changes, after that, make sure you press Control S. So for example, here, if you make any, let's add another one. For example, license, MIT license. So right now, if you see the file, there's a white dot up there. That means the file has not been saved yet. So it's not going to showing up in here. If you press Control S, and it should pop up. Okay, then you write the message, you commit again. Sometimes if something happened and you change your mind saying that, okay, maybe something is wrong, I don't want to do it, there's a discard changes icon here. So you can remove all the changes. I can delete this one, then it becomes just like the same one that we did earlier. Okay, so this is how you edit new content and they synchronize with GitHub. So this is one way. The second way is to use a so-called pull request. And this is particularly important, especially when you want to contribute to open source. So pull request means you want to clone a repository, and then you want to create a new branch, and then you're going to push it back to others. We talk about a pull request how to contribute to other repository. But now let's create a new branch just for a repo. The reason why we want to create a new branch is right now, everything that we are doing here, because this is right now the main branch, okay? If you go to click this repository here, this is going to show you all the things. And if you look at this branch, right now we only have one branch. So this is the master one. And the change that we're making is directly on this main branch. But keep that in mind, when you develop something that becomes very complicated, you always want to make a copy, right? You want to have a backup in case something goes wrong, you can revert it back. Because you don't want to make changes directly to the main branch in case something is broken. So we should have another branch working on something, work in progress, and once you think it's ready, then you merge it back to the main branch. So this is why Git is important, because you can create all kind of branches. So now, how to actually create a new branch? So here, you can just open this terminal, and then, so this is where we create a new branch. Again, all the command lines you need to use is available here under the Git. So how to create a new branch? Somewhere here. Branching, okay, Git checkout -b, and then give a name of the branch, okay? Git checkout -b, the name of the branch. So this is what we do. Everything you can do, actually, you can also use the you use the menu if you want, but you always use the type of source code. It's pretty quick. Okay, so git lowercase git, check out -b, and then give a name of the branch. Okay, so you can, for example, I can say just testing git check out -b, and then give a name. Usually the name can be just like short, or it can have two words that have a hyphen or something. So then press enter and take a look. So right now you're going to show you here switch to a new branch named testing. So here at the lower left corner here, right now under the branches, you should see the testing. So this is the one that we are working on right now. And so let's go back to the main document. Assume that, okay, right now the txt file, I don't want it anymore. Maybe you are cleaning up your repository, you have some garbage that you accidentally push to GitHub. Now you want to remove those garbage. You can do it. So just right click and then delete. Okay, remove it, it's gone. So on the left side here, you should see this. changes, and then this one is like strikes through here. There's a D, red color. What do you think D stands for? Delete. Okay. If there's A, that means it's like new file. So for example, I can add a new one. Assume that okay, right now I want to create a new file. Maybe what's that called? Hello.md, whatever, right? Okay, and then here I can say hello, Control S. So similarly, if we come back to here, you will see this one U. U means it's unstaged yet. So what does this really mean? This means right now it's in the working area. If you want, you can click this one, staged all changes. So what does this really mean? You can think about the process has 3 stages. The working stages, this is temporary, nothing is finalized yet. The staging area means, okay, I'm ready. I'm satisfied with the changes right now. I want to make a copy and keep it in here. And the last stage is, okay, push this one to the master, to main branch. So anything in the working area is not being checked. Anything in the staging area is being checked. And the last one, if once you commit to the main history, it's gone. So let me show you here. In general, they say, okay, right now I create a new file, I delete something, I'm okay with that. And I want to just take a snapshot. So you can think about the staging area, just like taking a snapshot. And later, if you make more changes, the change will be in the working area. So click this button, stage all changes. Then on the left side here, you should see 2 menus, right? Changes and the stage changes. Stage changes means this is something ready, okay? You can continue to make changes. So right now, for example, in the hello.md, I can say, for example, here, introduction, Control S. So take a look. Do you see this one's coming up in here? But it's not in the stage area. So the stage area is, like I said, is a snapshot I already took earlier. So if you click this one, do you see the introduction? No. That means it's in here. So M, what does M stand for? Modify, yeah. Modify. So you can continue to make changes, and when you think, okay, this is ready, I'm going to just stage all the changes. That means right now you are clean, everything has been ready, and I'm okay to push this one to the main branch. So how do you do that? Same thing, you write a message. So you can write maybe add hello.md and remove tx.txt. It doesn't have to be super long. The general rule of thumb is like right now, don't make it go to the next line. So if you're writing something super long, it's probably a little bit too long. So for me, I would just do it like this. And then again, Control Enter. It's going to commit the changes. Done. Next step, publish branch. And different from the earlier one, we commit directly to the main branch. Right now, we are not doing that. We are publishing this one to the testing branch. So go here, just click it. And then now we can go to our home repository. Come here, take a look. Do you see this one here? The source code is not directly available in the main branch. So this is called a branch. On the left side here, you should see the main, and refresh it. You should see 2 branches in here. The main branch is the default one. The testing one is the one that we just created. So once you push to GitHub, you should see this one, compare and pull request. So pull request means I want to contribute. I want to contribute to your main branch. Right now, we are contributing to ourselves, but you can contribute to other repo as well. So what you need to do, I will show you later in another lecture. Right now, just like follow me here, click this button, compare, and submit a pull request. If you scroll down, it's going to show you, okay, this file here is a new file. There's a file that has been deleted. So it's going to show you the detailed changes, like what has been changed. So if you are trying to contribute to other people's repository, people need to know what changes that you made. So this is similar to Microsoft Office, Microsoft document, like the check changes. So you can see every single detail that you have changed. And then from here, you can give a short description. By default, it's going to use your commit message. So we can keep it as default. And then if there's any additional description, you can write here, okay, I want to make changes. Of course, this is like useless. You need to write something that's useful, really. Right now, we're not doing anything fancy. So it's okay. And also here, upper right, you can assign the reviewers. Right now, just myself, so there's not really anybody else. But if a repository has a lot of contributors and admin managers, you can ask somebody to review it. Also, you can assign, you give a label, or it is a bug, a documentation, enhancement, blah, blah. For example, you can just say enhancement. Then this is basically just a label. And after that, not really much you need to do. Just say create pull request. And then we're going to check. For you guys, probably you don't see anything because I have some other settings enabled for my GitHub account. So I have this one pre-commit. We cover this one in the future. For now, you probably should just have the button somewhere here, like the green button. Probably nothing else. And see, right now I'm failing because I'm missing one file. Checking the most interesting. It's not take this long. Okay, it's done. No conflicts with the base branch. Okay, sometimes you have a conflict. We cover the more complicated issue in the future, but for now, just on the left side here, don't click the button. Okay, don't click it. There's a drop-down list on the right, and what I recommend is to use the squash and merge. And the nice thing about this pull request is right now we only have one commit. You can continue to make changes locally. You can push the changes. It will be pushed to this testing branch. So for example, here right now, it has been tested. You see the green button, that means it's ready. And you might change your mind. For example, okay, I want to make some additional changes. Don't merge yet. I want to make additional. Then you can come back to your local copy. I can add a new one, for example. You see maybe contributors, whatever. Control S. And again, on the left side here, look at this. I've made changes to this document. And so all I need to do is just, okay, modify hello.md, and then control enter, push, synchronize the changes. Then you come back to this one here. Right now is only commit one, right? If you refresh it, I don't even need to refresh. You see how intelligent it is. It's going to automatically showing up in here. So this means right now I actually have two commits. Right? I have the early one, I have the another one here. It's a good thing. So, and after that, if I'm ready, come here. I will select the second one. Otherwise, create a merge commit. That means it's going to have two commits. You're going to have two commits on your main repository. I prefer the second one. Squash means it's going to combine them all together and then going to show it as just one record on the main history. Otherwise, you might be doing testing, you might be messing things around, and then you might like commit 100 times. You don't want to do that 100 times to show up on the main history, right? It's not very useful. So squash means collapse everything and then just treat it as one commit so that it doesn't make your commit history like loaded. So click the second one and then just click. If you can give some description if you want to, then confirm, squash, and merge. And that's it. That's kind of general process, how to contribute, how to create a pull request. At the bottom here, you see this one, delete the branch. So in general, after the branch has been merged, you don't really need it. You can just remove it. So you can just click this button, delete the branch. That means right now it's gone. You can also make changes to make it automatically delete. So go to the settings button and then go down to almost the bottom here. There should be an option automatically delete head branches. So this one means that after a branch has been merged, it will be deleted automatically. Okay, since we're here, there's also another option I want you to check. There's one called discussion board. And this is the one where you can allow people to ask questions for your repo. So go to the settings. Scroll down, there's a discussion. Check this box. And then click Setup Discussions. After this, just click this. You don't need to do anything. Now your repo should have the discussions tab here. So if you click this one, and this is where people can ask questions. Okay, you can say new discussion, and these are some of the categories: ideas, journal, polls, Q&A. For example, you can start asking a question. For example, the repo is cool. Of course, it's useless. You don't do it like this. But you can ask anybody a question. Okay, I like it very much. Start the discussion. So what we're doing here, these are all Markdown, okay? We cover shortly about how to use Markdown. But this in general, late in the future, where you ask questions, right? So if you go to my repository here, 510 discussions, and then create a new discussions, Q&A. So if you find any like questions, just write a description. For example, my contact doesn't work, my number doesn't work, blah, blah. You can also take a screenshot. So let me show you here. Go back to this one. I can create a new discussion. For example, here, or maybe later, okay? Once we cover the Markdown. Right now, it's not there yet. Anyway, so once you have this, if you go back to the main repository, and look at this. Do I have the new Markdown that we just added? And also, if you click inside, you should see the changes. If you go to the history, commit history, it's going to show you. This is so-called why it's called squash. Squash means it's going to combine. I have two commits, right? It's combined as one, and also there's a hashtag here. This one is basically the pull request number. If you click this one, it will take you to that one. So this is why it's super powerful, because you can go through the history of any repository. You can see who contributed to this repository, when did they contribute, and in which pull request. So all the contribution is through the pull request. So you can look at each individual one, and you can quickly figure out. For example, I can show you, if you go to the leaf map website, and then go to the commit, right? You can see the entire history. When I release a new version, and what kind of new features I added. You can click this one. It will take you to the source code, right? So in the source code, I show you some demos, show me some scripts, and automatically build the website. Also, you can see the changes, right? Which file has been changed, what kind of things I added to the source code, and you can go through the detail. This is where you learn things from other people. Everything is online. Everything is over there if you want to inspect the history. Okay, we only have about 5 minutes. So last one, let's quickly discuss how we, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention. So once you merge the pull request, under here, you need to switch your local copy to synchronize with your cloud, with your GitHub branch. Right now, if you type git pull here, it's not going to work. It's going to show you, okay, your configuration, blah, blah, blah. For the remote, there's no such reference was fetched. The reason for this is because we deleted the branch, right? So earlier was working on the testing branch. It has been merged. Now we should switch to the main branch, and then we create a new branch based on the main branch. So basically, keep building. So what you need to do is just git check out main. You don't need to use -b because the main branch already exists. Okay. So switch to the main branch, and you can click this button, sync changes, and that's it. So now our local copy is synchronized with the GitHub branch. And you can continue to make changes. You can push to the main branch directly, or you can repeat the same process. Git check out -b, and then the name of the new branch, and then go on something, push, merge, and then come back, git check out main, synchronize. This is the whole process. So you're going to do it repeatedly. Right now, because your repo is pretty simple, there's not really much to do. But in the future, you're going to get more and more complicated. So you want to avoid making changes on the main branch directly. Make sense? And lastly, let's quickly cover about GitHub Markdown. So I'm going to show you some of the things in here, Markdown. So Markdown, you can add headings. We already covered this one. 1 hashtag, 2 hashtag. That means basically the heading. You can also bold. You can have text like this. So what you can do, I can simply, for example, let me show you how to, for example, I can open any of this. Then I can say this is bold. Okay. So what you can do here is to, when you are doing the typing, you can just, for example, I want to bold this particular character or anything. Just press Control B on your keyboard. Control B, select the characters, and then just Control B. If we bold this one, you have 2 stars. And then if you Control S, that means right now it looks like this on plain text. But when it's being rendered, it's going to be bolded. So if you Control K, doing this one, you see this being bolded. You can also italic. For example, this is italic. EALIC. Okay. Similar to this one, select it, Control I. You're gonna have an underscore, and take a look. It's italic. Or you can also do it like this way. There's a typo here. I can double click, right click. So if you install the Markdown shortcut, you should see all of this. Toggle bold, toggle italic, toggle strike through, hyperlink, images, blah blah blah. So I think the one that's most useful, the shortcut that we want to use, is when you're adding hyperlinks and also images. So for example, let's say maybe geography.utk.edu. Okay, so right now this is a simple text. There's no hyperlinks. You can do it this way. You can select it and then Control L, or you can right click and then say add hyperlink, toggle hyperlink. Then from here at the top, it's going to ask you to show the HTTP URL. So I can type HTTP as URL and then geography.utk.edu. Hit enter, Control S. So look at this. Right now on the right, do you see this one, the hyperlink? So basically here is basically square brackets, the text you want to show, and then parentheses, the URL. So you can now click, and this is where you have all the hyperlinks. Again, look at my homepage. You will see text, you will see hyperlinks. You're going to show also images. The last one, how about let's add an image? Where it is Markdown. Okay. So how about this? Do you like this one? You can add GIF animation, right? Assume that, or I can just copy this one. You can replace it with whatever image you want. So for images, it's an exclamation at the beginning. Exclamation, square brackets, and parentheses. And then when it's being rendered, it looks like this, right? And then just Control S, done. And I'm happy with this. Update. README. Control Enter. Push. And pretty much. And this one is just a Markdown text. It doesn't actually include the image. The image is being pulled on demand from the internet. So the file actually is pretty tiny. So if I go back to here, to my demo, now you should have this. Yeah, very much similar. Very much similar. It's different, but it's like less complicated. It's just plain text. So you can add images, you can add all kinds of things. We only have 1 minute, but we'll go through the list. You can also add code blocks. So code block looks like this. So if you want to add some code blocks, it will be like this. Backticks. So the upper left corner of the keyboard, backtick. For example, you want to add some Python code. If it's 3 backticks and then say Python lowercase, it's going to indicate this one is the Python code block they're going to edit. And then from here, you can say print, okay, hello world, Control S. So go to the right here, it will show up something like this. And this is super useful because you can, when you ask questions, if you want to provide some sample snippet for people to test it, then you want to have this one. For example, when you're asking questions, you want to put this one on a Q&A. And similarly, I can say, okay, add all blocks. Control Enter, push the changes. Then you should go to GitHub and it should be here right now. Refresh. Look at this. So the nice thing about this, it allows you to copy. So in the future, if you run into any technical issues, you provide this. I can just copy and then I can test it rather than I have to select and copy. So if it's sample code. So let me show you quickly here. I'm going to go to my discussion, and for example, a new question Q&A. Okay, help me, please. Of course, don't write this one, okay? It needs to be specific. I'm running out of time, so I don't want to do it. And then you can say, oh, okay, blah, blah. And let me copy this one. And this is where you really have this sample code. So when you ask questions, and then start discussion, okay? See? So everything is marked down. So make sure you practice it. There are more information here, back tables or horizontal lines. But most useful would be some of these code blocks, images, and the links, and also the list. Also, I can do it in here. For example, after you post the questions, I can ask another one. Bear with me. For example, I can just use the screenshot here. Okay, I can just take a screenshot somewhere. For example, like this, and then just copy. I can just paste it. So if you have an image, let's say copy from your computer, you don't need to upload. You can just copy and paste. Then, come on, you see the one comes up in here. So it's very powerful for you to insert anything. So in the future, questions should be on the main repository here, GitHub questions. So any technical questions asked here, I will respond to your questions. Yeah. And that should be enough for you to get started on the assignment. The only thing right now here is the GitHub issue, but it's the same as the GitHub questions. So if you go to this repo and then issues, then just create new issues. It's the same as the discussion. The only thing is issue is you have a bug, you'll have something else. Discussion is more like Q&A, how do I use it, blah, blah. Issue means you find something that it should be fixed. We will cover more next week. But that's all for today. So should be enough. Try to practice. Again, this should take you maybe a couple minutes to finish. And I'll see you next week. 1 week from today. You mean next Thursday, midnight? If you need extra time, let me know. That if you want to know